Hey guys, you ready to paint? So hopefully you signed up and you got your painting kit from one of our local Charlestown, Clark County libraries. So it might be New Washington, Borden, Henryville, Sellersburg, or Charlestown. And your painting kit should consist of your canvas, which you see behind me, your paint tray, and everybody's paint tray looks just like mine. So if I point to a color, you'll know which color I'm pointing to. And your brushes in 2 sizes. And we just want you to have fun, take your time. Painting's not a race. It's not about who gets done first. So just take your time. I'm going to do a step, and then I'm going to tell you to pause, and then you're going to pause, and you're going to do the step. So just watch, do the step, and then go to the next step. If you need to rewind, that's okay. Rewind, watch it again as many times as you want. So here we go. I'm refocusing you on the painting so you can see it better. And you have your water cup, and you've also watched that pre-setup video that I made. Make sure you watch that so you know, have everything set up and ready to go. Okay. So this is our finished baby Yoda, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Yours is all drawn out for you, so that makes it a lot easier when you have it on there. What do we always start with? If you've painted with me before, you know that we always start with the furthest thing away from us and work our way forward. So the furthest thing from us would be this background and the sky. So we're going to get our big brush, and we're going to start with the white. So you washed your brush, you squeezed out the water. Yeah, okay. Just checking. And you're going to put white on your brush, and you're going to use a lot of white. We're going to fill in this background. So at this point, I'm going to show you real quick. Take your brush, and if you'll flatten it, see what I'm going to do? Flatten it on the side of your tray like this. Can you see what I'm doing? Flatten it on the side of your tray like that. It makes your brush kind of skinny. Then we're going to take it and we're going to edge it around Baby Yoda. If you get something on him, you can just take your paper towel and wipe it off. And go down to this line here, the ground, the horizon line. The horizon is, I would normally ask you, is where the sky and the ground meet. And go ahead and fill the rest of that in. And we want our brush strokes to go horizontal, so side to side. All your brush strokes. See how I'm going side to side? I'm going to outline around the top of them. So I flatten my brush again so I can outline around him. And then I'll paint it out side to side. Not worried about the edges just yet, but we will get to that. There we go. Go all the way down to this horizon line. That's your stopping point for this. Okay. Now I need you to pause me for a minute and go ahead and paint the white on your sky. Make sure we keep it wet so we can add our blue in. Okay, so I'm thinking that you unpaused me and we are back, and you have everything in the background is white, and it's still, like you didn't go eat a sandwich, it's still wet. Because if it's not wet, you probably need to go back over it just a tad bit. Okay, now we're going to take a little tiny bit of this blue here in the corner. Just put a little bit on the tip of your brush. This blue is a strong color. So it's going to be really bright. And I just want you to pull from one side across and back. You see how that's making streaks across your sky? Now I can make it darker if I want to. It's easier to make it darker. It's not so easy to make it lighter. Just pull it across. If you see it has dry streaks in it, then your brush is, like it looks grainy from the canvas, then your brush is probably too dry. And I'm just working my way back and forth down the canvas. We're going to keep doing that all the way across. Yeah, I know, I went over Yoda's head just a little bit. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do about that. So I am going to outline him just a little bit. This. Just to kind of give myself a little buffer room to get in there. I'm going to take a little piece of my paper towel. I'm going to get it just wet a little bit and wring it out. So like this, I have a little piece of paper towel. And I'm going to wipe out wherever I got blue in there, because you know I did, right? Especially on his head. We don't want blue showing up on his head. And after you do that, while it's still wet, you're going to just pull it back and forth. And if you accidentally flick it on him again and get more blue on him again, then you'll just use your little piece of paper towel and wipe it out. Outline your horizon. So my white is getting a little dry, so I'm going to take a little extra white on my brush like this, and I'm going to go back and blend it in. See how that blends it in nice and neat? Make sure all your brush strokes are going side to side. Just like this. I'm going to do the other side, rounding with the blue. You don't want a gap of white around Yoda where it looks like there is no sky. That would be weird looking. So make sure you get up close to him. It's always easier just to wipe it out. Like just go back and where we got blue on him and wipe it out. Just do it while it's still wet. Just squeeze the water out of it. Make sure it's not drippy. Yeah. And where it's, my white was starting to get a little dry. So now add a little bit of white in there, and then you can just make sure your brush strokes go side to side. And I'm just using white to blend it in a little bit. it gets dry, that's okay. Just put a little white in there. That'll help mix it back in. And before you pause me, I want you to make sure you get those edges. So paint all the way around the edges nice and neat. That way you don't have to frame it. You can just stick it up on the wall once it's dry. So get all the edges all the way down to this corner here and this corner right here. And you can pause and go ahead and paint all your background and get all that done for me. Okay, then clean your brush after you get that done. Clean your brush real good. Make sure you tap it on the bottom of your water cup and squeeze it out. So we're still working with the bigger brush. You cleaned it. It might be stained, but that's okay. We got it clean. You got it clean down in there. And you finished your background. So you've unpaused me. We finished the background. Now we're going to work on the bottom of the painting here. And we're going to start with this peach color. Does everybody see our peach color down here in the corner? That's what we're going to start with. So you can get a lot of it on your brush and just start painting side to side. Go all the way from Yoda down. So I'm just going to outlining. You can flatten your brush out on the side of your tray. Just outlining like this. Make sure you don't get that. Pull that blue. Don't pull the blue down into your peach because then you'll get like an ugly brown color. So just start right at it. Okay, and then just brush this out to the sides. That. Brush this out to the sides. If you accidentally get blue on your brush, that's okay. Just wash it out and, wring it out again. There we go. I'm going to fill all that in. Just make sure your brush strokes, like you don't want to stop and start. If you stop right here, then I'm going to see a stop line. So just try to, pull it all the way in from both sides. Pull this up so we can see that bottom. Okay, well finish this up with the peach, but don't let it dry. So you can pause me right here and finish up, but don't let it dry because I'm going to need to work on this while it's wet. So pause me and come right back real quick. Okay, so you're back. I didn't clean my brush. I just left the peach on it. And that's okay. That's what I'm going to use. We're going to mix into it. So see this orange here, right here? We're going to take a little bit of that and kind of wipe it on our brush and flatten it out. Do you see how I'm going to get my brush flat? Does that make sense? There we go. Now you can see it. Okay, so see this line here and here? So just kind of from Baby Yoda, just go whatever line, it can be flat. Mine's kind of flat, or you can make a little bit of a hill, come to the other side. There you go. Now with add a little bit more, flattening it out like that. And I'm going to flick my paint in from the side. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see it better. So see how I'm going to kind of flick my paint in like this and just kind of stretch it across. Just let it wear out of your brush. Just kind of dry brush it back in. Go all the way to the Baby Yoda. I'm going to add some more paint the same way, just kind of flatten it out on your tray like that. Come in from the edge, kind of flick it in. If we want the edge just a tad bit darker, then you can just dry brush it back in. If it's not working, you can add a little bit of peach. Like if you had too much orange, you might want to add a little peach. But if you had just the right amount, then you don't need to do that. We're going to get some orange underneath him to create a little bit of a shadow. There we go. I'm trying to make sure I have canvas showing, the texture of the canvas showing, so I'm trying to get rid of that. You just go over it with a dry brush, like this, let it smooth out. There you go. While you have that on your brush, you can always go over and get the edges. Put a little peach on your edge and then touch it with a little bit orange. Go up to the blue. And then you can take a little bit orange and just touch it so it looks the same on the side as it does the front. Alright, so now, see I got a little blue there, let me get that off. Okay, so now I'm not cleaning my brush again. I'm going to use a little bit of orange, still with the orange, and I'm going to go across the top here and maybe kind of put some streaks in there. This area is a little bit darker, so we're going to use the orange. Make that top dark. Do you see what I'm doing? Now, this color next to it is a sienna, which is a brown that has some orangish red in it. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. This is a rich color, so kind of wipe it on and wipe it off. See, I'm wiping it off on the side of my tray. Wipe it on, wipe it off. So there's not a whole lot on there. And I'm just going to take it from the Yoda, and I'm going to follow the angle of this contour of this hill. Just kind of smear it in there. Just go back and forth until it smears in. I'm going to take a little bit of peach because my brush feels dry. Just smear with. So in this case, instead of using white as my base color, I'm using peach to mix with. Peach is my lightest color. And I'm going to do the outside, so I'm adding sienna to my brush. I'm going to start with Baby Yoda, follow the contour, go all the way down here. And I'm going to use a little bit of that peach to mix in with. I think it needs a little bit of orange. What do you think? Yep, that was the trick. And just kind of work on it. You don't want to overwork it, but you do want to kind of get it smoothed out. There. And if you want, like this one has some streaks in it, if you want to put some streaks, just turn your brush so it makes a skinny line this way. And you can put some streaks in it. There you go. Just like that. And then I need you to pause and make sure all your brushes are clean and get those rich color orange and sienna out of your brush before we move on to Yoda. So pause me and clean. Make sure you squeeze all the water out of your brush. Okay. So, but with the idea that we are going to work from the thing furthest from us, so we did the sky, which is the furthest, then the ground. We're working our way towards us. So when we work on a person or an animal or anything like that, we're going to do the eyes first because the eyes are underneath the skin. The skin would overlap them. So we want to do the things that are furthest from us or need to be overlapped over. So we're going to work on the eyes. So you can see I put the black here, and we are going to, this area right in the furthest around it is the sienna color, and this is going to get black, and then we're going to let it dry, and then we'll come back and see. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to try to get it really close. See his eyes? See how they have a highlight on them? We're going to let it dry before we do the highlight, so this is going to be one of the last things we do. Here we go. So we're going to take our brush, little brush. I wouldn't expect you to paint those eyes with that big brush, right? And get a little of your sienna that's next to your orange. And we're going to get in and behind. So just stay inside the line. If you mess up, it's okay. Take your paper towel and just wipe it out. You know, if I was there, I would help you do it. I'm not. So you're just going to take a little bit of paper towel, get it wet, and then squeeze all the water out of it and wipe it out. Even if you have to wipe it away and start over, that's okay. That's how we learn. So see how his eye is filled in around it with the brown? We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So go around in this area. You see the area I'm working in right here? Go around the outside of that circle. So there's a pencil circle on there. And that is what you're going around. And I'm just going to wipe that off my brush. Not really washing it, I'm just wiping it on the paper towel. And I'm going to go to black. Black is here in this corner. So don't get the blue. Get the black here in the corner next to this mustard yellow color. Kind of wipe it on and smooth out your brush. So I like to get my brush all smoothed out. If you have paint all the way up in here, see, part of my brush still does have paint on it, and that gives me more control. If I had paint up here or on this brush, it was gobbed on there, I would have no control over where it goes. So a little bit of paint, wipe it off, and we're going to fill in this eye area. The circle is on there for you to fill in. And even go over top of the black. Because paint is a little bit shinier than marker. It's on there and it just looks a lot nicer. And we're pros, so we want it to look nice, right? I know you all said yes. Okay. So you can pause and fill that in and then clean your brush. So I'm going to clean my brush. And while I'm cleaning the brush, I'm just like really dabbing it on the bottom of that paint cup just to get all that paint out of the middle of the brush. Then squeeze it out with your fingers. And the next thing we're going to do is inside the ears here. Now if you have a lot of blue in there, you might want to make sure you get that cleaned out. And I'm just using a clean wet brush. Then I have to clean my brush again because I got blue on it. Okay, squeeze it out. And we're going to use the peach. and we're going to fill in the inside of the ears. So we're going to fill in this one and this one. So just kind of wipe your brush so it's smoothed out on your brush and you have control over where your paint goes. Turn it so it's making a skinny line like this. Here you go. I bet you guys are doing great so far. I wish I could see them. I had a lot of fun painting with you all last year, so kind of miss seeing your little faces and having fun with you. But I know you're having fun, so we will just keep painting. There. One ear done. Go to the other one. Make sure you wipe your brush off so you have control over it. Stay inside those lines. I like to outline it and then go back and fill it in. And just paint it where it's smooth. I don't think he has like weird lumpy paint in his ears. That would be weird. Alright. Clean. Go ahead and paint. Pause. And then clean your brush. Okay. So I had to get expert advice on which color green to use. And this is bright light green. So I think it's the perfect Yoda, Baby Yoda color. Clean brush. Go ahead and use your little brush. And just put a little bit on your brush and then wipe it like that. So you have a flat brush and you can use it to edge with. And I would go around and edge Baby Yoda's head. So just be careful, we still have wet paint going on, so we don't want to get into that wet paint. If you feel more comfortable starting someplace like this, go ahead. And you can go over top of these black lines here. His little baby wrinkles. How cute are those? I don't know about you guys in your house, but we think Baby Yoda is the most adorable thing ever. So, and I'm guessing if you pick this to paint with me, then you think he's pretty adorable too. Out his ear. And you can go up to the black line or on the black line. Either way is okay. I don't really have a rule about that. I think it's okay for that black line to show. Because he is, a character. It's not like he's a, person that you want to get realistic with. So it's okay. Anytime you're doing something that's a cartoon or animation or something like that that's drawn, you can leave that black line. Now, if it was a real person, you probably wouldn't want a black line around them. Not saying Baby Yoda's not real. Don't get me wrong. Okay, and we're going to go around the eye. Real careful. And around this eye. There. We're going to outline the other eye. Try not to pick up any of that brown on your brush because then it'll smear across his face. If you did, wash your brush, squeeze the water out of it, get new paint. Because that would be easy to do. the bottom of his face. And I like to make my brush strokes go the direction that his like cheeks go, or see how it's rounded here, and it would be rounded there, and it would be rounded there, and this would be rounded. So I would go that direction with the brush strokes, and go up his nose, like up the top of his, over his nose like that. Okay, you're gonna have to get your brush really flat to go around those outer ears. So really flatten it out like this on your tray. And just know if you mess up, that's okay. You can wipe it out. You can always wipe it out with a little piece of paper towel and go back and fix it. Like that. Swing it around all those little crevices. And we're getting the other side. There we go. Now just checking to make sure there's not any little places where the canvas shows through. I feel like this little ear needs a little touch up. Just check his ears on the corners. See if there's any place that this needs to be touched up. You don't want any of that grid from the canvas to show through. So just go back and look at him in the sunlight or in the good lighting and make sure. Now, we can put a little black on him. So I'm not going to clean my brush at all. I'm just going to touch a little black, and a little black will go a long way. So just on my green brush, I added a little black, and I'm just going to go over a few of these skinny little. If it looks too thick, then you may want to do it with a marker, like a black Sharpie. That would also work. And I will probably go over my mouth with a black Sharpie. Like that. If you don't like how it turned out, take your little paper towel and wipe it. And paint your green back on there. And then go back with a Sharpie. Clean your brush. Uh-oh, I forgot his fingers. Let's go back and get his fingers. Take your little clean, squeeze your water out. Okay. Now clean your brush. And let's go back to our big brush. And we have a paint color we haven't used yet. So we have this yellow color, kind of a mustard yellow color. We're going to clean brush. We're going to take this and we're going to paint vertical, straight up and down. So you're going to edge around him like this. then fill it in with brush strokes that go up and down. Outline around this sleeve too, where it hits that blue. If I got yellow on this, it's okay because it's kind of going to be yellow anyways. I just think it looks nice to have that. The brush strokes all go in the same direction, up and down. Get rid of all that texture on there. And we're going to take a little white. If you're dipping in your white, try to find a clean spot because you don't want blue in your white. Kind of wipe it off a little bit. And we're just going to do some little streaks from the bottom up. Just kind of wipe a few streaks in there just to give it a little texture. Kind of make it look a little more like fabric. There we go. Then I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm leaving that yellow and the white on there. And I'm just going to go ahead and go over this collar. It's a little lighter, so we're going to go kind of add white. And then I'm going to put the yellow back on top of it. If you need to use that little brush, you need to use the little brush to kind of edge around him. So I get close without making a whole big mess. There we go. And this one is going to go like kind of the shape of the collar with your brush strokes. See how the brush strokes are going the shape of the collar? A little more horizontal but kind of curved up. And I'm going to pick up a little yellow and clean my brush. I'm not going to because it's going to be mixed. Whenever I mix it, I don't normally clean my brush. And all these bumps kind of represent, on the side, represent folds. So those are folds. And then I'm just kind of brush it in, blend it in. See, I'm kind of rounding it. We're going to do the same thing on his sleeves. So we're going to add, wiping my brush off. I'm going to go to white. I'm going to outline it in white. There we go. And do the other side in white. And then I'm going to go back while it's wet. And I'm going to pick up some of that yellow color. And I'm going to put some streaks in there from the edges. Just kind of blend it out a little bit. Just kind of have to think about which direction would this round. Looks like it's going to round up that way. I'm wiping some of that extra paint off my brush. I'm going to take a little straight yellow and put a shadow in here, right there. And I'm going to put a little shadow in right here, next to his face. Here we go. I took a little yellow and just put a little shadow in his ears. Just like that on the inside. I don't know if you can see it very well. Can you see the little shadow in his ears that I just wiped in? Just kind of gives a little variation to it. And then we're going to clean our brush, the little one especially. Squeeze the water out of it. So if you didn't get that done, pause and get that caught up for me. So make sure his robe is all done. Then a clean brush. Okay. I'm going to take my little brush and I'm going to stick just like the corner like this into the white. So I'm just going to touch it, the corner of my brush in the white. Like that. And I'm going to wipe it off on the side of the tray. And then I'm going to, so this eye, so you got to do this without touching or smearing your hand across this. So this eye on the black gets a little swoosh right here and a little swoosh right there. And this eye gets a little swoosh here on the black, a dot right there. You could always put a few little, if you want to put some highlights in, you could always do that if it's dry. You could always put a few more highlights down here on the robe. If it feels like it's dry. And it looks like we have our baby Yoda done. So check your edges. Make sure all your edges are painted because that makes it nice and neat so that you can hang it up. See how that looks? So check that. And then we need to make sure this is dry down here at the bottom. And we're going to sign our name to it. You can sign it with the little brush or a marker. Just make sure you sign it small, and I would put it down here at the bottom, here or here, either one, but small like you would at the top of your paper. And make sure that you send me those pictures of you holding your Baby Yoda app and post them where Miss Colette puts a link. And make sure you stop by the library, send them a note, and thank them for having me out to do this with you. So, hope you guys had fun, and we will see you all next time.